France has fallen in 6 weeks, gentlemen.
The Wehrmacht is unstoppable. Moscow will be ours by Christmas.
The Russians, they just keep coming.
Stretched too thin.
Winter is here. We're not prepared.
Sixth Army destroyed at Stalingrad.
Berlin is surrounded. We have nothing left.
How did we lose everything?
How did a war machine that conquered Europe in weeks end up completely destroyed in just 5 years? In September 1939, Germany unleashed a new form of warfare, the Blitzkrieg. Poland fell in 35 days.
In May 1940, the impossible happened. France, with its larger army, fell in just 6 weeks.
And Europe seemed defenseless. Belgium in 18 days, the Netherlands in 5. An illusion of invincibility was born.
But behind this facade lay a troubling reality. Germany used horses to transport 80% of its supplies.
The Blitzkrieg wasn't just innovation. It was economic necessity. Germany had to win fast, or not at all.
June 22nd, 1941. Hitler made his most catastrophic error. He invaded the Soviet Union.
3.8 million soldiers, 3,000 tanks, 2,500 aircraft. The largest invasion in history.
Initially, everything worked. Millions of Soviets encircled. The Wehrmacht advanced 25 kilometers per day.
But Hitler underestimated one thing: the Soviet Union's sheer vastness. 24 million square kilometers.
Stalin evacuated over 1,500 factories to the Urals, beyond the Luftwaffe's reach.
There, these factories began producing war material in unimaginable quantities.
In October 1941, the Rasputitsa turned roads to mud. Then came the winter Hitler hadn't prepared for.
German soldiers froze in summer uniforms. Tanks wouldn't start. Weapons wouldn't fire.
By December, they could see Moscow's spires, but they would never reach them.
Stalin unleashed fresh Siberian divisions. The Wehrmacht retreated for the first time.
The Lightning War became the war of attrition. And in that war, Germany was doomed.
Total war production, 1939 to 1945. Germany built 119,000 aircraft. The Allies built over 600,000.
The United States became the arsenal of democracy, producing more than all Axis powers combined.
The Soviets alone produced over 100,000 tanks. Germany produced 67,000.
Germany desperately lacked everything: oil, rubber, food, metals. The economy couldn't sustain the war.
The attempt to capture Baku's oil fields would lead to disaster at Stalingrad.
Every resource Germany needed was outside its borders, vulnerable to interdiction.
Allied bombing devastated German industry. By 1944, synthetic fuel production fell 90%.
The Allies possessed 4 times the economic output of the Axis. The math was brutal.
Unless Germany won quickly, defeat was mathematical.
and the Blitzkrieg had failed.
Summer 1942. The German 6th Army reached Stalingrad. The city's name made it a symbol.
The Luftwaffe reduced the city to rubble, killing 40,000 civilians in 1 week.
The battle became the Rattenkrieg, the Rats' War, fighting for every building, every room.
Mamayev Kurgan changed hands dozens of times. Both sides bled white in the ruins.
November 19, 1942. The Soviets struck the weak Romanian flanks. Within 4 days, 300,000 Germans were trapped.
Hitler forbade retreat. He promised air supply.
The Luftwaffe couldn't deliver.
Harsh conditions and freezing temperatures were as formidable as enemy fire. The cold reached extreme lows.
On January 31, 1943, Field Marshal Paulus surrendered. Out of 300,000, only 91,000 remained.
Stalingrad was the turning point. The myth of Wehrmacht invincibility died in the ruins.
The bloodiest battle in history. Nearly 2 million casualties. And Germany could not afford such losses.
One of the most devastating battles in history, with nearly 2 million casualties. The scale of loss was immense.
Hitler fought on all fronts simultaneously. Troops begged for reinforcements that never came.
Hitler began micromanaging battlefield decisions, forbidding strategic retreats.
He ordered fortresses held at all costs, immobilizing entire divisions for no strategic gain.
From 1943, Allied bombers struck nightly. Germany diverted over 1 million men to air defense.
Bombing shattered transport networks. Factories produced tanks that couldn't reach the front. Fuel production collapsed. German pilots received 30 hours training versus 300 for Allies.
By 1945, Germany armed children and elderly in its final defense. The end was near.
Every major strategic decision, Barbarossa, Stalingrad, war with America, brought Germany closer to doom.
Millions initially welcomed Germans as liberators from Stalin. Nazi ideology made allies into enemies.
And omnivorous systematic extermination transformed occupied populations into fanatic resistance.
Slave labor in factories was counterproductive. Brutality reduced output. Cruelty weakened Germany.
Nazi persecution expelled the minds that could have built Germany's atomic bomb first.
Instead, they built it for America. Ideology didn't just make Germany evil, it made Germany stupid.
20% of rail capacity diverted to the Holocaust. In a war where every train mattered.
June 6, 1944. An important chapter in history took shape. The conflict expanded, affecting numerous fronts.
In the east, Operation Bagration destroyed Army Group Center. 28 German divisions ceased to exist.
By late 1944, Germany lost everything it had conquered. The Reich was now fighting on its own soil.
December 1944. The Bulge was Hitler's last gamble. It failed, consuming Germany's final reserves.
March 1945, the Allies crossed the Rhine. The last natural barrier had fallen. At Remagen, the bridge was seized intact. A gateway into the Reich ripped open. Armor and infantry poured east without pause. Germany's heartland lay ahead.
Millions of German civilians fled west, escaping the Soviet advance. The cost of Hitler's war.
April 1945. 2 million Soviet troops surrounded Berlin. The end had come.
The battle for Berlin lasted 2 weeks. Hitler's thousand-year Reich was days from extinction. Street by street, house by house, the Red Army ground forward through the ruins. German defenders clawed at every floor, but they were out.
May 2nd, 1945. The Soviet flag flew over the Reichstag. Nazi Germany was no more.
In May 8th, Germany surrendered unconditionally. Europe's nightmare was over.
The numbers were never close. The Allies produced 5 times more aircraft, 3 times more tanks.
Territories. Germany's 70 million faced over 800 million. The manpower disparity was crushing.
The Allied GDP was 4 times larger. Economic fundamentals determined the outcome.
When was the war lost? Perhaps when Barbarossa failed. Perhaps when America entered. Perhaps at Stalingrad.
Or perhaps Germany could never win against this coalition. The math was against them from the start.
Resources matter. Ideology can blind strategy. Multiple fronts bleed strength. And hubris leads to catastrophe. History does not forget, and neither should we.
The over 50 million dead. Cities destroyed. A continent in ruins. The price of Hitler's ambitions.
Today we study this history not to glorify war, but to understand how nations fall into catastrophe.
Why did Germany lose? Because the entire Nazi project was fundamentally flawed, morally bankrupt, and strategically doomed.
From the ashes rose a different Germany, a democratic Germany, a peaceful Germany, memory as guardian against repetition.